Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead. Season 10, will Negan exit? And before you throw all your ideas, all your emotions, all your feelings out there, hold tight because we've got some articles, we've got some news. We are going to funnel it down a little bit. I know we like for our characters to be around forever, but I think this article is going to it's going to open your eyes a little bit to some possibilities. So before we get too far into tonight's stream, how about a shout out to the Patreon Army? Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. We should have the sponsor list updated for you guys by tomorrow. We got many of you are tired. How many people were here for the 4-hour Play Dead Live pack opening last night? A lot of fun. It wasn't just pack openings. It was generosity comments. There were some jokes. There was some... I don't know. It was a lot of cool stuff. Looking forward to Friday night and doing a little bit of Play Dead Live with you guys. So we're going to jump into The Walking Dead because just want to make sure everybody knows we are a Walking Dead discussion channel. It's what we do. Our roots are 999 Gaming. I've always been passionate about gaming. I always will be. But our content is not changing. We are going to do funnels, bold predictions, spoilers from time to time, recaps, reactions. We will still mash it up on Mondays. We will do our social aspects. We're going to do our random things. And we're also going to do a little bit, not even a little bit, we're going to do a lot of Play Dead Live because we like hanging and we like gaming and we like all of those things. Eric Beach says, good evening, Army. What is happening with Jeffrey Dean Morgan? He's kind of got that smile on his face. So a lot of, we funneled down. And I know we talked about Beta being the country music star. So Walking Dead Nerd actually sent this to me a little bit earlier today. I was getting around to it, but I got to be honest, I was a little bit sleepy. But there is an article. It is the second half of the Dalton Ross article, EW.com, with Scott Gimple. And this one might be probably the most, Walking Dead Nerd, would you agree? This is probably the most information we've ever got out of a Scott Gimple interview. It was not as cryptic at all. It was very straightforward. And it gave us some of the details that were a little bit unclear. Like, one, Walking Dead World Beyond. Some of you might have known this, but did everybody here know that it's taking place in Nebraska? Who knew that? Who is like, that's some brand new information. Like, I knew it was out there. I knew it was being filmed. But prior to this interview, how many people knew it was in Nebraska? All right. Well, that's one thing. How many people knew that it took place before what's going on The Walking Dead right now? That is brand new information to me because we had been given every kind of hint and clue that it was going to be more in the future. So now you basically have Walking Dead World Beyond slightly before Walking Dead Season 10, where we're at this moment. That is absolutely huge, huge news. And the reason that's important is based on what we're going to talk about today, is the crossover. How many people think, yeah, too many crossovers, there's no way there's going to be a crossover? Anybody here think, no way, can't cross anybody over from Walking Dead? Let me just find a quick show of hands. Just want to see where everybody stands on it. Okay, well, according to this article, some of you saying no way, this is EW.com asking Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is there going to be any crossover element to the world beyond other than CRM? Scott Gimple's answer, yes, absolutely. I mean, they do. I mean, this is big news. If the article will stop reloading on me. They want me to click on things. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do share a universe, though, It's really cool to see how this different corner of the universe operates and the lives that they have been living all this time. We've been talking about aspects of next season of The World Beyond, but here's the big news. Check this out. There might even be a big aspect of crossover with one of the shows. So, look, he says might, but one of the shows, that could be Fear. I'm not going to say it can't be. But the reason why I think it could be Negan is because it makes a lot of sense with his story, where he's at, what he's going to go back to, and what the future could hold. And we're going to break it down some aspects of that. We got Fluff the Flamethrower. Dave and Tony are planning on going to Nebraska in season 2, but Rick put the kibosh on that. And he beat. So Gimple is pulling George Lucas. All right. So good comments from the past and also the future theories. Thank you guys so much for those super chats. This is why I think it makes sense for it to be Negan. And it's not necessarily because I think it makes sense. It's because I've been reading the cards that you guys have been playing. For the last 2 years, I've been kind of on that roller coaster of your emotions, of what you will tolerate, of what you will allow, of what you want to see. And you have told me many times, Negan cannot be trusted to be put in power around this group. How many people remember saying that, or how many people agree with that? How many of you agree that Negan cannot lead that group at Alexandria? Benjamin Stevens said, could that be the Yumiko daughter theory that I had? Well, Ben, I got to be honest, I don't have all the details of your theory, and I'd have to know the age and the time frame and a few other things to really make that work. But we can certainly discuss it. So let me give you a little bit of kind of where we stand with Negan. And you guys chime in, things you agree on, things you don't agree on. Tiny Rick, how long have we been live? 10 minutes? So Negan has been in prison for a long, long time. Negan gets a taste of freedom. Aaron, well, even before that, Maggie wanted to kill him. She didn't kill him. So Maggie doesn't like him. Aaron, he saves Aaron. And Aaron wants to have him executed. He saves Lydia. Daryl, I don't care you save Lydia. I'm going to kill some bitch. Daryl doesn't care. Daryl might have voted to save him, but Daryl is never going to be tight with him. They're never going to be buddies. Negan is so distraught, such an outsider to Alexandria and to the group, he leaves. So, why is that a hard theory to grasp? That if he'll leave Alexandria and merge in with the Whispers, that he would leave the Whispers and look for another opportunity. That shouldn't be very hard to grasp. The other thing that being on a spinoff does, it gives him a clean slate to be whatever he needs to be. If he wants to be good, he can be good. If he wants to be an ass and he wants to be a leader again, he can be an ass and he can be a leader again. If he wants to be in the middle, he can be those things as well. But the problem is he can't be those things on our television show anymore. He cannot be Negan. And we need him to be Negan. So Will the Bill says, I honestly don't see a replacement for Negan on the original show. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit, Will. A replacement for what? He's already been replaced. A replacement for someone that's going to sit and rot in a jail cell? A replacement for someone that's going to grow tomatoes for the group? A replacement for someone that's his story is always going to be do something wrong and get kicked out? There's only so many times you can exile him. Only so many times you can execute him. So where's the story going to go with that? You can't keep telling that same story over and over again. All you can really do is totally exonerate, totally forgive him. And Julia, the characters on the show are not going to let him be a hero. Many of our viewers just said that. You guys just said as much. So if you're saying it's an impossibility, then why is it that him leaving all of a sudden changes your mindset and says, no, it's a possibility? I'm just going off the fuel, the ammunition that you guys are giving me. Well, I know why. Because we don't want to lose our characters. And we see the story unfold in front of us, but then when we think that it's going to really happen, then all of a sudden we shift our original story. That's why I ask you guys questions first before I give you the scenario. I'm kind of tricking you a little bit. But much like the Rick Grimes story needed to move in a different direction. And the movies might be the right direction. Negan has a clean slate on a brand new show. So let me switch the narrative a little bit. So instead of, here's the rule. I'm going to change the rule for you guys. All right, E-Beach says, I don't like it. A prequel part. Negan is a collection of experience. Won't be the same character we love. Hold on, Eric. And Tegan. It's not a prequel. The time frame is slightly. And it is, in Scott Gimple's words, it is so close that the audience won't even know it. It's the same time, basically. He says it's slightly before. So they're going to catch up. And I would say, for sake of argument, we could say it's exactly the same time. I don't know why Scott Gimple just didn't come out and say, it's the same time. He kept saying, like, it's slightly before, slightly, okay, a month, whatever. And he didn't say Negan was going to cross over. It could be Sherry, it could be Morgan, it could be anybody. But I feel pretty confidently it's Negan. So I'm going to ask you guys to do this, all right? For the next 10 minutes, you can't, here's the rules. You can't tell me why it can't be Negan. This is what you're going to do. Everybody's get out your pencil, get out your paper, put on your writer's hat. And we're all going to force ourselves to give some qualities of what Negan could bring to the world beyond. So think about that for a minute. If Negan were to finish off the war, if Maggie were to come in, if Negan were feeling so awkward like, whoa, this just got really, really weird. Daryl doesn't like me. Carol wants to kill me in my sleep. Maggie hated me forever. Lydia's gone, and Lydia did like me. Judith kind of needs Daryl. I'm going to hit the road, everybody. So, if Negan is a part of the world beyond, what value could he bring to that TV show? And newsflash, everybody, you're not losing him. We didn't lose Morgan. We didn't lose Rick. We're not losing Michonne. Stephen Ellis says his comedy KCF, he's good at reading people. His experiences with something a little bit different. Joshua says, what if it's Maggie who comes back and exiles Negan? Now, hang on a minute. And I'm sorry, I don't even want to bring this dude's name up in a stream, but I have to because there's a video, and you guys know who I'm talking about, but this dude did a clickbait video not too long ago, and the title of it was, Maggie will come back and exile Michonne. Now, I'm just a little curious why there are people in the world that could see Maggie coming back and exiling Michonne, but they can't see Maggie coming back and exiling Negan. Now, I could certainly see Maggie doing that more so than Michonne. That actually makes sense to me. By the way, Negan killed her husband. She doesn't like Negan. Maggie coming back in, no matter who Negan killed, might still be a pretty good story. Will the Bill, we definitely lost our guys that went to Fear. Yeah, Will, I don't think that was the intent. I think they thought the writing would be a little better. But I'm not done with it. I mean, you got Dwight over there. You got John. You got Morgan. You got Alicia. You got Wes. You got some firepower over there. All they need is just some better writing. In fact, I like what they have on Fear. If I was going to battle, I would love to have that group. But I don't like their decision making, and I don't like the writing. But I think they got a good basis of a universe there. What do you guys think about Wes? I mean, I think Wes is legit. I would take Wes on this show. So it's not just the Walking Dead television show. Fear Universe is still out there. And if we go into World Beyond, which many of you will, they're going to need a little bit of a kickstart. So, how many people are going to say the verdict is still out on World Beyond? Like, you're not sure if it's going to be a good show or a bad show. You're going to watch it, but you just got to, they got to prove it to us. That's fair. It's a fair assessment. 50-50. Good. I just got a couple more questions. Will the Bill, I agree. Bad writing. We just expect more because we're used to seeing. Right. And Will, I know for a fact you had some animosity toward Jenny. Like, I'm going to even quote you, Will. You said Jenny was like a female version of Negan. So we were getting there, and then the writing just got really bad the last couple episodes. It can't be resurrected. I think it can. So you got a good base of characters that they need to make us forget some of those experiences. Jenny's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit, and then the story has to get a little bit better. Ben Stevenson says, you're on to something. I don't see Negan fitting in with Commonwealth story coming up. Banished, and maybe Maggie knows about Nebraska and sends him. Thank you. All right. That's one. But hold on, I'm not done yet, Ben. I got a couple more questions because this is really going to hit home. One thing about my audience, I know you guys. I really do. You'll see where I'm going with it in a second. E-Beach. If it's Walking Dead, I'm watching it. So, great points, everybody. Thank you so much for those super chats. Really appreciate you guys, your thoughts, your opinions, getting involved. I'm calling a couple more people. Crystal Singer Chick says depends a great deal on who the showrunners are in these shows. It does. And I feel like we've written a pretty good plot from time to time. What's up, Football Master? Ollie, but wouldn't Judith want to go with Negan? I don't know. Ollie, I don't know. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong. Judith and Negan have a good relationship. I don't know that, one, she'll get the opportunity. Number two, if Maggie exiles Negan, ain't no way in hell that Maggie is going to let Negan take Judith with him, especially if Michonne is missing. So tie in both storylines. Maggie would be very protective of RJ and Judith, and I feel like Maggie is probably going to be the person that oversees them. But, so let me ask you guys this question. So, as I stated, it's fair enough. A few people said, Kills, I'm not sure about World Beyond. Look, my heart was into Fear, and Fear's let me down from time to time, but I keep going back to The Walking Dead. So, how many of you over the last couple seasons have really, really warmed up to Negan? That you think Negan is good for the show. You love the actor, think he plays a good part. Most. I think most, right? And just out of curiosity, if Netflix did decide at some point just to do a Negan backstory and tell us, 3 episodes of how Negan got started, the rise of the Saviors, all of those things. Would anybody tune in just to pick up maybe 3 episodes just to find out a little bit more about Negan? I mean, I would. Yeah, Will says he'd watch it over and over. Certainly. So, if I were the showrunner and I crossed Negan over to World Beyond, by default, you would watch World Beyond, correct? Some of you on the fence that said, I'm not sure about the show. Would Jeffrey Dean Morgan not be a draw to make you watch the show? So you're telling me some people aren't sure about the show, but you love Negan. You aren't sure about the show, but you would watch a Negan backstory. So deductive reasoning, if they really, really wanted you to get into the show, it wouldn't hurt to bring an established character that does not have much of a story left on The Walking Dead, except for the fact we like him and we want him to be there and he could be the hero. His story is very, very rough right now. Exiled, unliked, Maggie's coming back. Even if he kills Alpha, there are reasons that he cannot lead Alexandria. Carol's not going to allow it. Daryl's not going to allow it. Daryl exiled Dwight. So if Daryl exiled Dwight, he could certainly exile Negan. And I think Negan needs a clean slate where people don't know all the past stuff. How many of you would like Negan to have a clean slate? A new opportunity. Somebody give him another chance. Well, most of you, because most of you are saying the people in Alexandria should give him another chance. So, is there a danger of having Negan in Alexandria? And I'm going to give a kills coin to the first person that can tell me exactly what the danger that I think is the most common thing that could continue to happen in Alexandria. It's 2 words. You don't have to give me those 2 words. I don't know it's mass. I don't know it's mass chaos. The word I'm looking for is hero worship. Look at what just happened with Brandon. 7 years later, the legend of Negan is still out there. And some wacko kills 2 innocent people because of hero worship, because Negan and his backstory was still apparent. That's always going to be a possibility in Alexandria. So if Negan crosses over, don't have to worry about that. Negan can be Negan. And if he's a little shady, if he's a little controversial, it's fine. Because at least that way we don't have to worry about him being exiled. It's basically like he can roll a brand new character. So I love this comment by Casey. Casey F says, I have to admit, I don't like the tension with Negan and Alexandria. And Casey, I think if most people are honest, most people don't. It's just our selfish nature to be afraid to let one of our favorite characters leave the show. I mean, that's a lot of it. I mean, there are some that, okay, they do like it. But I would say most viewers, I don't know that well, look, I'll say this. I definitely didn't enjoy Negan being in prison. There was nothing, I knew it had to happen, but there was nothing enjoyable about that storyline for me. And in fact, a lot of our streams, we were like, okay, is Negan ever going to do anything? I mean, we had some bold predictions out there. But it was just, nope, keep him locked up. Build a relationship with Judith. He got away. Then he's going to go back to the sanctuary. And it did, Crystal. It dragged a little bit. And, I mean, the Negan going back to the sanctuary, it wasn't bad. But it seemed a little fillerish. Like, he leaves, he puts on the hat, he goes to the sanctuary, he walks around. He needed to see it for himself. He sees the destruction. Judith kind of captures him, takes him back. I mean, it was okay. I don't think anybody got it, Walking Dead nerd. I didn't see hero worship typed anywhere. I saw like some paranoia, a couple other things. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my favorite thing. I mean, it showed a side of Negan, but I'm just being honest. I thought there were other more entertaining aspects of that season. But I know it needed to be told. I also think there's a fear Well, let me put it this way. Many of you were super freaking excited when you first found out that Morgan was crossing over to Fear the Walking Dead. And a whole lot of people were excited when they found out that Dwight was crossing over to The Walking Dead. Now, I know we forget that. Because it was bad. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Sympathizers are going to say, come on, Kills, Fear wasn't that. It was bad. It was terrible. There were episodes last season of Fear the Walking Dead that were some of the worst episodes of the Walking Dead franchise I had ever seen. And I still love the franchise. Still love it. Still going to watch it. Still going to be here for the streams. Still going to talk about it. But it was bad. And you've got the potential of a good character with John. You've got the potential of a good character with Grace. Potential of a good character with Wes. I mean, there are people there that could make some things happen. But it's also got us a little bit gun shy about crossing over our characters. Now, look, we don't want to lose our Negan. We don't want to lose somebody else that could cross over because they could do the same thing and they could send them to another show to die. That's a possibility. But we got to have faith in the franchise. There's a reason why you guys are here on Elvis Presley's birthday, when you could be, out watching Blue Hawaii or wearing some blue suede shoes or something. During the off season, you guys are here because you have faith in the Walking Dead franchise, that we like to talk about it. So if they decide to cross over a character, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for that character. And in fact, I'm not giving up on Dwight and Morgan. I still think there's some potential there this season. Just like if it is Negan that crosses over, I'm definitely not giving up on that. I'm going to be just as excited about that crossover as I was when I first heard that Morgan was crossing over and that Dwight was crossing over. And I think that they're going to do it better this time. Now, it's a theory. It's a funnel. There's nothing confirmed out there on this video that's going to say Negan is crossing over. But when I saw the article and I read it, and all the things that he has working against him, do I think that he's going to come back with Alpha's head and they're all going to kneel and say, "Oh, great Negan, thank you for saving us in the Whisper War. You are officially forgiving. Come join our community and get back." Our characters on The Walking Dead are not that type. They would be, "Hey, I don't care if you did kill her. I'm exiling you, you son of a bitch." I mean, Daryl is still going to exile him. Daryl doesn't want any part of him. Daryl doesn't want to look over his shoulder, just like Casey F. said earlier. There's always that looking in the rearview mirror. They'll throw him back in jail. And I agree. What do you do? What do you do if you bring him back to Alexandria? Does anybody here see a world where Maggie has her own house and Negan is her next door neighbor and Daryl lives across the street. Do any of you guys see that world where they're all just kind of walking around and interacting with each other? I just don't see it in those characters. So, as someone said a little bit ago, you bring him back and put him back in jail again? Charmed Originals. I predict Negan will be redeemed, become Daryl's best friend, and become a father to Judith and RJ by season 12. Oh my Lord. Charmed, that would require a complete character shift of so many different characters. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't see that. Yeah, I just don't see Carol. I'm trying to think of a world of where that could exist. I mean, you're going to make this into The Walking Dead is going to turn into 3 Men and a Baby. It's going to be a sitcom. And it's going to be about Negan cracking jokes and everybody living happily ever after. I don't see it. It's not about redemption. It's about the behaviors of the characters. These are characters that we've watched for 10 years. Just this season, and I'm going to tell you how difficult this is to play out. Will the Bill, you're breaking my heart, Kills is starting to make sense. I'm going to need a padded room. You might get a padded room on Friday night. You guys be here for Play Dead Live, and you will see the asylum. So, I do want to entertain kind of Charm's idea that there's going to be full redemption. How long ago was it that Negan saved Aaron from certain death? Aaron was going to die. Aaron was blind. Charmed, I'm not even at Carol yet. I'm still on Aaron. I have to base it on each individual character. Negan saved Aaron's life, and he was exiled to death. They were going to kill him. That's one example. Negan saved Lydia's life, and they were going to exile him to death. Still, they didn't care. So you take the fact that these people are unforgiving for the most part. They left him locked up because it was Rick's will. Maggie didn't kill him because it was Rick's will. So now you're telling me Carol's going to bake him cookies? You used the word Daryl and Negan are going to be best friends? Wait. The man that forced Daryl to eat dog food sandwiches, Daryl's going to be best friends with Negan. I see that never, ever happening. Dwight helped save Daryl, and Daryl still exiled Dwight. And Dwight left. So, to think that these characters are going to change their perspective, not one of them, but all of them, that Maggie is going to suddenly accept Negan, that Daryl is going to like Negan more than Dwight, and that Carol, no. You certainly have a right to your opinion. Maggie did not forgive Negan. Maggie spared Negan to leave his ass in jail to suffer longer. And then she left. She probably left because she didn't want to have anything to do with a community that left him locked up. So when she's coming back, I don't think she's coming back to like him. I could probably rant on this all night long, but I'm going to leave it as you have a right to that opinion. I just strongly, strongly disagree with almost everything in that opinion. And most certainly I disagree with that Negan and Daryl will ever be best friends. There's no way. No way they're out on hunting trips together. Just can't happen. Julia Muse. I hope you're wrong, Kills. I stand by the hope that Negan becomes as important as Rick to our community with a full redemption. So, Julie, you're saying that you see Negan as the next Rick Grimes. I want to get this straight. I think there's a lot of fishing going on tonight. And look, I'll compare it. We'll take it. If I have, all right, I'm going to do this, okay? Based on what you know about Negan, I'm going to give you option 1, 2, and 3 from a believability standpoint. Option 1, Daryl and Negan become best friends. Option 2, the group suddenly forgets the past, puts Negan on a pedestal and says, "You are now the leader of Alexandria." Or option 3, they continue to not trust him and they exile him. What do you think is the most believable? Hey, I'm not saying that miracles can't happen and somebody can't be wrong. I'm just saying if you look at it from Daryl and Negan being best friends, or Negan leading the group, or Negan being exiled, I think there is much, much more credibility to Negan not fitting in with this group. And it's not a sad situation. It actually is a good transition for Negan because it gets him off the hook with us and it gets him off the hook with all those people. So if you truly like the character of Negan, let him go. Let him go and become that character that we don't know what the potential is. And that's exactly right, Joseph. Some things can be forgiven, but it can't be forgotten. And look, the story with Brandon did not have to happen. I strongly believe that when the writers of The Walking Dead put these little Easter eggs in there for us, the Brandon story was to let all of us know people will never fully be able to coexist with Negan based on what he did in the past. Storm 3851 says Negan will never be trusted. And I agree with that. I like him, but I don't trust him. And I think he's going to do some things with the Whispers that are going to further demonstrate that he is about himself. And with that, everybody, we are at 48 minutes. And we're going to wind this thing down. We got some great opinions, some great thoughts on this. And I know I didn't get a chance to call on everybody, but certainly said that there were certainly some good thoughts in here that I want you guys to go back, check them out, read them, watch the playback, all of the above. I was checking out a couple comments there. But if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you exile that like button before we wind down the stream. Tomorrow night, I'm not 100% of what we're going to go down. We may do some additional character roles. We may talk about Play Dead Live. We could do 2 streams, or if I've got a lot of prep set up, I might not stream tomorrow. So hold tight, everybody. Great chat, great debate, some great fire tonight. I love the fact that we can get in. If I disagreed publicly with your theory or prediction, don't take it personally, because a lot of you guys disagreed with mine too. That's why we were having a debate about it. I don't hold any hard feelings against you. You guys don't hold any hard feelings against me. One thing that we certainly try to do here is get as many theories and possibilities and ideas out there. And a lot of times, if I'm calling on your idea and I disagree with it, it's because I do want to debate it and I do want to talk about it. So thanks so much, Charmed. Certainly respect your opinion. Julia, I think we need a little work on that one. No, come on, Julia. Really? Negan being respected like Rick Grimes, leading the group like Rick. Come on. Daryl is not even respected like. Daryl doesn't even get that credibility. Michonne didn't even get that credibility, and she probably deserved it more than anybody else. So they're not going to pass that mantle to Negan. Maggie, maybe Maggie. But I think she's still got some work to do. But the biggest thing that I would do to shoot a hole in that theory, Julia, is Maggie's coming back. And if the group has a chance to follow Maggie or follow Negan, leave in the comments right now. Who are you going to pick? Who are they going to pick? There's still people mad about Maggie leaving the show. But the group is going to follow Maggie. And we got Jason Phillips says, Kills, you're the greatest. Thank you so much, Jason Phillips. Appreciate that. The group is going to follow Maggie. We might, look, we're still a little angry she left, but they're not. Maggie is that connection to the past. I mean, she's been there for so long, they're going to see her as the white knight coming in to give them a hand. And if the group is going to follow, that's a good point. Tegan's like, will she give them a choice? That's a great, great comment. Maybe. I think we're going to see a little bit different Maggie, but Maggie changing her character, softening up a little bit, is a lot less of a stretch for me than Negan turning into the next Rick Grimes and having the respect of everybody. Now, do I think that Negan could kill Alpha? Absolutely, I think he could. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Negan gets to kill. But even if he does, see, I think. Let me leave you guys with one more before we shut this thing down. All right. You guys want to help me out with this one? I need some volunteers. Raise your hand if you're willing to volunteer for one last question in tonight's stream. This is what I want to leave you with. Everybody here is Negan. Okay? I'm going to give you all the chance to do something. And each of you, as Negan, you pull off the greatest feat in Walking Dead history. You kill Alpha. You do it for the people of Alexandria. You lay your life on the line. And they don't accept you. What do? Do you beg them to accept you? Do you come back? Here's your head. I'm leaving. Thanks, everybody. Point made. You guys have a great night. Let me make a special shout out to the Patreon Army in the top left-hand corner. Also to the PDL sponsors that support our game. We are going live on Friday night. Looking forward to the Asylum. If you guys don't know what that is, I will do a quick stream tomorrow night so you guys can roll up some more characters. And if you didn't get a chance to roll your character by Friday, we're still going to let some people in. And then we'll get your characters once we get the scenario going. So we're definitely going to open it up for everybody. We're going to get as many players as possible. We're going to talk a little bit more about gear. So, but we got Walking Dead to talk about as well. So a whole lot of good stuff coming up. I got all the inventories finally updated, but I will be making an announcement on inventories before the stream starts. So I know what you have. You know what you have. But when you go into the Asylum, the first little bit of that quest is going to challenge you. I'll explain tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody. Had a great night. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And let's do it again tomorrow and Friday. Peace.